Just going to use my tripod here, so you get all set with that. 1 second, and then we'll get to all your questions and everything. Thanks a lot. So we'll just hold this for now. All right, guys, ready for all your questions with the live chat. Yeah, sorry for the delays. This, as I said, is my first live chat, so we're gonna do this kind of as we're getting up to speed here. So yeah, thanks, Stressins, appreciate you. So guys, let's start with some of the news of the day. Damon Arnett is a Texan. As I reported, when he was playing for the Roughnecks, there was NFL interest. Texans were monitoring Damon Arnett, who obviously has had a lot of off-field issues and is someone that has a checkered past. One he says he's learned from, an exclusive interview with Damon, talking with him about how he says he's reordered his life, changed significantly. And today, he signs a 1-year contract with the Texans, and now he's back in the NFL. Former first-round draft pick of the Raiders, had multiple problems with the Raiders, has had issues with drugs, has had issues with the law, and right now, eligible to play in the NFL, and someone that the Texans are looking for to provide depth and be possibly the third corner. He'll have to earn the spot. He's someone that obviously is not on the firmest of grounds in terms of the roster, because he's new and because of some rust and also just because of his history. But this is a fresh start for Damon Arnett, and I had a chance to have a conversation with John Gruden. And in case you guys hadn't seen Coach Gruden's comments, I want to tell you a little bit about my convo with John. John was riding through the Rocky Mountains with his wife. They've got a place up there. And this is what he had to say. He says that Damon has a whole new identity, doesn't look the same, doesn't act the same. He's not the same. He has changed his identity. He changed the circle of people in his life in a good way. He's focused. He's determined. He's got to make up for some time that he lost. He's really concentrating on stringing good days together. He's very proud of him. He looks at him as a guy who's reinvented himself, done it impressively, and he wants to hope that he continues on this path. And he says he's been involved with guys before that have had adversity. Darren Waller, great example, had problems, fixed himself, in John Gruden's words. So did Max Crosby. He says Damon Arnett could do that as well. Hopefully this opportunity leads to something great. So I'm going to get to some of your updates on Jimmy Ward, which I know you guys want to talk about as well, and I'll get into as much as I can with the understanding, guys, that this is a fluid legal situation, and we have to respect a lot about the legal process, including the right to privacy of an alleged domestic violence victim that's made serious accusations against Jimmy. But let's just stick with Damon for the moment, because that's the newest news of the day, and then I'll give you some updates on Jimmy. So appreciate you guys being here and bearing with me. Was trying to get it to start, and I had it in my tripod, and it told me I need to be vertical for this. I thought I was horizontal for almost everything I've done on YouTube, and there's actually a call from Damon's lawyer who's helped him, Daniel Moskowitz, through this process. So awesome to hear from Daniel Moskowitz and John Gruden, a lot of the people that have had support for Damon Arnett. And so this is a second chance, and the Texans don't normally do this, I know. So a lot of fans are surprised. I think that they feel like their locker room can handle the presence of a Damon Arnett, who is talented, but is 28 years old and has a checkered history. So we're going to see what's happened with him, and he says he's found religion. The biggest thing I found when I talked to Daryl Moose Johnson, who runs the UFL, a year ago he wouldn't give him this opportunity because he didn't feel like it had been long enough for the change. And he had, a recent off-field issue. His lawyer said he wouldn't have been charged with possession of methamphetamine. It was prescription medicine. Technically, it was meth, but it wasn't like the kind of meth you see on Breaking Bad, is my understanding. It was some sort of mental health type of drug. So with Damon yeah, this is a second chance, but obviously he's going to be on, probation, really. In essence, like if he has, they're not going to have any tolerance for him if there's an issue. If he has any kind of problem, they're going to move on. So that's where it stands, and the Texans, they're not going to just willy-nilly sign someone. They've done their due diligence, I can tell you that. They've looked into it. They've talked to the Roughnecks. I have talked to the Roughnecks, their head coach, Curtis Johnson. I've talked to Brett Maxey, his secondary coach, former NFL player, and they feel comfortable with this. They think that Damon has changed, and, oh yeah, thanks, James. Appreciate you stopping through. Thanks for supporting the channel and coming through. So yeah, this is great. It's definitely a good place to be. No, Corey, we're talking about Damon Arnett, not Damian Pierce. Funny. No, DP is a Texan in good standing, and I think getting healthy and should be ready for training camp. So let me back up a little bit because I want to look at some of your questions. And so let's do the updates on Jimmy Ward. That was the first one. That's from Abigail, who appreciate all your comments. Abigail is a very frequent commenter on my YouTube channel, which is only about, started October 13th. So it's a fast growing channel. We're at about 9,150 people. So my hope is 10,000 next and then more. But Ward, my understanding the next step for him, obviously there's July 16th court date, and then he'll enter a plea. I expect him to plead not guilty. And we might have a trial at some point. They'll have to have jury selection. These, the wheels of justice don't move quickly, and this is a serious case. This is a felony accusation, a third-degree felony of strangulation, of family domestic violence. So this is, to give you guys a little bit of background, this is his baby's mother. This is a long relationship that I just don't want to say too much about because I want to respect privacy and also the right for anyone that makes this kind of accusation to that privacy. And I don't want to, try the case here. All I'll say is my understanding is the Texans are going to let due process take its course along with the NFL under the personal conduct policy and under the legal justice system that we have. And so it's set out in Montgomery County. They have a judge set for this case. He is represented by Steve Jackson, who exclusively told me to ask everyone to reserve judgment on Jimmy, to give this some time, and he predicted that he will be, quote, vindicated. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy Ward, and if it's going to be a situation of, is this going to be settled? Is this going to be an acquittal? Is he going to be convicted? We don't know. I don't like to predict legal outcomes because it's just such a serious situation. This is not a lawsuit. This is a criminal matter. And yes, Jimmy has been a two-time team captain and balloting from his teammates. He has been active in the community in philanthropy. I've attended many of his events. He genuinely cares about the community, I can tell you that. And he authored a children's book. And so we've done a lot of coverage of him. But yeah, for Jimmy, I think the next step is just the GPS monitoring. I think they're going to take that off, the GPS electronic monitoring. And that's something that they're working on, as well as just the emergency protective order will remain in place, so no contact between the woman that's accused him and him. And she's accused him, as mentioned before, of strangulation attempt, and she said that she feared for her life and she felt threatened and she called 911. This was last Thursday. So we're just about a week since this surprising incident. And I will say I am surprised, everyone's surprised, but I'm told that Jimmy is in good spirits and he is obviously free on $30,000 bail. So let me look down to see a couple questions. I really a lot of comments here so far. And guys, if you want to start dropping some questions, please feel free. And let's see what we got here. We've got Stressens saying that he's shocked. And yeah, it is surprising, but we have to wait for the facts to come in, obviously. Abigail says that, thank you for the Ward update. And she's concerned if we need another safety. Of course, he is close to D'Amico. Yes, he is. He is close to D'Amico. He played for the 49ers. D'Amico brought him to the Texans. And now they are, that relationship's being tested, obviously. And this isn't a football thing. This is a legal thing. And they're going to have to make some decisions. Tacky wants to know, is Max Tooley still with the team? No, Max Tooley was released last year. I believe he caught on with the Vikings practice squad. I don't know if he's currently on a team. I'll look this up for you real quick. I remember him signing with someone else. Don't want to misspeak here. So Max Tooley, I was right. He's a Viking. Yeah, Max is a Viking. He was a decent undrafted. They have Jackson Woodard's a good undrafted linebacker. So is KCSI. So we'll look at that. Here's a question from Kenneth. He wants to know how long till Ariante Ursary takes over the left tackle spot. I think he's closer to taking over the right tackle spot than the left tackle spot, but I think eventually next year that he's that left tackle. Abigail, another question. I like the offensive line performance. Well, it's hard to judge them in pad when they're in pads, but they're not hitting. It's like patty cake out there. So it's very hard to tell much about the offensive line and their performance, but I know they struggled a lot, especially Blake Fisher against Will Anderson Jr. He's got some great new moves. He can't wait to show them to everyone. Shape of the tackle battle. I would say Fisher has the lead and Ursary is gaining on him. I would say that it takes some time to know when they're in pads. We'll be able to really tell a lot more about Fisher versus Ursary. Ursary's bigger. I think pound for pound, a better athlete. Fisher, more experienced, got great technique, and he did struggle in the playoff game. I don't think anything's promised to him. I got a TJ Watt question. I'm not sure what the question is. Roberto, they're working on a contract, the Steelers. I think it's going to be very high paid. Jim Davies wants to know, will the Texans upgrade NRG or build a new stadium? Upgrade, refurbish NRG. Really, I shouldn't say upgrade. I think they'll fix it up, and they are going to upgrade the video board, so I expect that to happen. And so, yeah, the camera's shaking. I understand. Guys, I'm holding the camera. Let me try to steady a little bit. I didn't know that you needed to go vertical. I thought I was going to be horizontal. I actually have a tripod. Let me see what I can do here. Maybe I can try to get this tripod where I can set it up. Maybe where I can hold it, where it's absolutely flat. But yeah, let me work on that for you guys. So yeah, refurbish, and I do believe they'll get a new training facility. So we'll work on that, and that's on my priority list. Obviously, the things I'm tracking. Stressens wants to know the presence of Jalen Smith allowed the Texans to take a flyer on the cornerback market on Damon. I mean, they like Jalen, but he's unproven. He's a rookie. I think with him, he's going to be, someone that's a backup nickel. He's going to be on special teams, and so they're working on that position. But I don't think necessarily that he's promised the third corner spot. There's going to be competition with Arnett and others. Do I think Sheldon Rankins would start? Yeah, I think based on his experience, sure. I think he would start. I think that they have a lot of starting candidates, but it's probably him and Foley Fadukasi that are most suited to be the starters. And then you have great backups with Mario Edwards Jr. It's very possible that Tim Settle starts. So I think it's going to be competitive. I don't really see Rankins as someone that would come off the bench, though. In my opinion, I think he's someone that you would pencil him in as a everyday starter. So I'm trying to work with the steadying here because I want to have the good microphone level. Okay. All right. That should work. All right, guys. Sorry about I didn't mean to give anybody any headaches. So I apologize for that. So others want to know. No, that didn't work. All right, there we go. All right, guys, sorry about that. What do I think happens with Dameon Pierce? I think he'll come to training camp. I think that they will look at Dameon as potential depth for, the position. Obviously, Nick Chubb is going to start, but I think Dameon's going to be a kickoff returner, and I expect him to also be in the mix. Question from Stressens. Biggest takeaway from being at the OTAs and the minicamp? I would say, besides how jarring it is to see so many changes with the offensive line, one of my biggest takeaways was the excellence of the secondary. This is absolutely loaded when you think about Derek Stingley Jr., Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and having Kalen Bullock and of course having some quality depth. I think Nick Caley, you asked about his energy. He's someone that has, good rapport with the players, has a outstanding way about him in terms of high energy and good rapport with CJ Stroud, off to a good start in that relationship. So I think that that's something that we should keep an eye on as well. So getting some comments about the sound. Let's get the microphone going. Guys, thanks. I appreciate it. I will get better at this. We're working on it. I think if I could do it again, I probably would have used my laptop to do this. But I'm very comfortable with my phone from a lot of my other videos. So let's see if I can steady this. And what's up? How you doing, Mr. Optimistic? Thanks for being here. Okay, thanks, guys. That sounds better? All right, it's a little crooked, but let's see if it'll stay in place. Is Nick Chubb healthy? Yes, the foot is fine. I just don't think he's as explosive as he used to be. He's someone that obviously is working his way back to full health and to regaining his explosiveness. But no, I would say, yeah, as far as structurally, he's all good. Absolutely. Hey, guys, how you doing? Thanks, Steve Areno. Thanks, RG. I appreciate it. So let me go back a little bit. Next extension, there have been some talks about, very, very preliminary, about possibly Tim Settle Jr., but I think the money's got to be just right, and right now, I don't think that anything is imminent, really nothing super active on a contract. Well, the Texans beat the Rams week 1. Tough opponent, first time out there. Sean McVay is going to know everything, and his defensive guys, about Nick Caley. Tough matchup on the road, difficult game. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Difficult game. I think it will be tough. Being asked about if Jake Andrews is a legit starter. I mean, he didn't start for the Patriots. He also had some health issues, so I think that was a factor. But yes, I think in terms of size, strength, snapping the football, being a 4th-round draft pick, he has starting material. And the idea with him is that the upside's a bit higher than it is with Jarrett Patterson, who's a good, technically sound player, but maybe not quite what you're looking for in terms of bulk strength there and being able to drive big nose tackles off or just hold them off. Do I think Joe Mixon will start the season on the PUP list? Taylor wants to know. I don't think he would be on the PUP list. I could see it maybe if you're talking about training camp, maybe he could start training camp on the PUP or just not pass his physical, and then they have him on that reserve PUP list for the start of camp. What I don't anticipate is this being a long-term injury. He's made significant progress. He was moving well at that football camp he had with kids at the indoor bubble, the Methodist Training Center. So let's see what else we got here. Mr. Optimistic wants Tim Settle. I think probably starting. I mean, Fadukasi, he's had some health issues. He's not as young as Tim. Tim's a little bit bigger than some of these other guys. Whose injury makes you most concerned when it comes to training camp participation? Probably Christian Harris, because he continues to injure the same thing, the calf. So I worry about him, and then I worry about some of the ACL guys like Brevin Jordan, Braxton Berrios, that are not even a full year removed from their ACL tears. So yeah, those are causes for concern, those 3 guys. If I had to rank them, I'd probably say, right behind Braxton Berrios and Brevin Jordan, Christian Harris. Do I think Jaden Higgins can be a wide receiver too? Yes, I think that he can create separation. I think he's always open. He's like Twin Towers out there with Nico Collins. I think he can definitely get it done, and I think he's going to be one of the better rookies. Who knows? Maybe other than Ashton Genty, he's a offensive rookie of the year type. Timeline for Trent Brown. Trent is expected to be ready at some point before the season. He's making some progress. I don't necessarily think that Trent is someone that is going to be as healthy at the start of the season as he would be maybe 4 to 6 weeks in. And you're hoping for Brevin or Harris, to have big seasons. Absolutely, you need those guys. Trades or splash? Again, sorry about that, guys. I'm going to try to anchor this phone and mic. It's plugged in, that's why it keeps moving. So sorry about that. I don't see a big trade or splash signing. No, I don't anticipate that. Stressens, I think that that's unlikely, that it's going to be some kind of huge move. I think that they've already made lots of big moves, like trading Laramie Tunsil, etc. Do I think EJ Speed could beat out Henry Toto? I do. I think that Henry's injury is not bad. I just think that EJ gives you a veteran savvy, steadiness. He had 142 tackles. I think they're open-minded about that position. But I think Henry Toto, if healthy, I think he will be, because it was not a big injury, that he would be ready. If he's ready for the first day, he probably goes out there first as the first-string linebacker at the beginning of camp. And where will the new headquarters be located? I don't know. There's some rumors about 290. There's some other ones I could see. I could even see the Memorial area. I could see them probably going anywhere south of Houston. That would work. Also, they think they're in the running still at NRG Park. It's hard to develop around there because of the zone. It is zoned for Section 8 in that area, so it's a little harder to develop everything there. Let's see. I just think I missed a question here. I think Xavier Hutchinson is a nice fit for the system. I think that he's got a good chance to make the team again. I don't know about impact. I look at him kind of as a depth player. We're talking about, I understand we have lots of conversations about guys that are going to do this or do that. Ultimately, we're talking about maybe like 10, 12 catches. We're not talking about a lot of targets. So let's just kind of keep in perspective, how much is someone going to actually play? So it'd be interesting to see. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm sorry for a few of my technical difficulties here. I'm just trying to make it so the phone doesn't move. I'll probably just hold on to it here. Okay. Luke Lachey. I think that he is a bit of a long shot to make the roster. I think he's more likely to be on the practice squad, Joshua. I think he's someone that, if you look at, there's Irv Smith, there's some other tight ends. The guy that's really made the step up is Cade Stover. So no, I don't think he's guaranteed anything. Jalen Noel, yes, he'll be healthy by camp. Lots of medical questions. That's kind of my specialty. I expect Jalen to be ready by camp. It was not a serious injury. He did run on the side. And if he was really hurt, he wouldn't even attend practice, even inside the training room. John Mechie III's potential odd man out. Joel Flores wants to know. I think that's possible. I don't know if Cade is going to take out Dalton Schultz, who's under a 3-year, $36 million deal. I think he's tight end too. Do I have faith in the team? Deidre wants to know. Yeah, as far as like winning the division again, I think that they, are the kings of the South still. It's all about, to me, can they take the next step? Can they beat the Chiefs? Can they beat the Bills? Can they beat the Ravens in the playoffs? So that's tough. The Texans, they weren't really in on this Jair Alexander thing. I don't think they need someone like that. He's a starter. I think it helps the Ravens. I think it's a good signing for them, and the money was decent. Brevin Jordan is not 100%. He's healthy in the sense that the knee is fine. He runs. He does all those things. But as far as like ready to go, like ready to practice, he's not there yet. He's getting closer. Yes, I think if Dalton Schultz has another bad season, they would move on. Yes, I agree with that. I don't know if they'll trade John Mechie. I think that it's difficult to work trades, but sometimes Nick is good at dumping a player if he feels like he's not going to be a Texan. He doesn't on their plan. Sometimes you can trade player for player. I think Texans, yeah, I agree with that. I think the Ravens, the Texans, they both have good secondaries. I think the Texans have a slightly better secondary. Look at the safety position other than Kyle Hamilton. I like what I saw, Noah, from Jaden Higgins. I think he's outstanding. I think he's an excellent football player. I think he's been as advertised with, being picked so high and then paying him kind of like a first-round draft pick with the fully guaranteed. That's the reason, for those that have asked me before, that most of the second round is not done. So Nick, not super popular with the rookie deals because he sets precedents, but he believes in, what he believes in. So he has a right to do the deals he wants to do. And, of course, the agents and the players love it, so it makes the Texans popular. So you should like that about it. Will they eventually get their issue deal done? Yes, they will. They'll get it done. Do I think Titus Howard might become the leader? Yeah, from my conversation with Titus, and thanks a lot of guys for watching and interact with that, and thanks to guys like Seth Payne that have shared it and commented on it. Really appreciate Seth. Another great channel. So many good channels. Landry Locker, Cody Stutes, lots of great channels out there. So appreciate you guys participating in my channel. My channel is a little bit different. Everybody has their own style. Seth watches a lot of tape. I'm more sort of the beat reporter, journalism, experienced NFL guy. Lots of other guys have stronger, perhaps more spicy opinions than I do. I have some opinions. Sometimes I keep them to myself. A lot of the times I am thinking a lot about relationships and how they might be affected by strong commentary. But I like to stick with the news and the facts. But yes, I do think Titus can be that leader. Can C.J. Stroud, they turned down the Pro Bowl. I mean, honestly, guys, it was, thank you so much from BG. Greatly appreciate this. Thanks, BG. Thank you for that. That is very nice of you. Thanks, BG. That was great. Thanks for the comments and that's great. Yes, I do accept these. Those are great. And so let's go down to the next one. Okay. Here we go. I missed a couple questions here, so replying to that. CJ, as far as the Pro Bowl, I just think the Pro Bowl wasn't his priority. The priority was him getting healthy, having a good offseason. No, he never had surgery. All these conspiracies were ridiculous. Guys, I said this days after DeMeco Ryans didn't really clear it up, in my opinion. I just wanted to get some clarity, and I was told authoritatively, and they told me the truth, people I trust, that CJ would be fine. It was a connective muscle tissue thing from lifting weights and from all that sort of thing. So, yeah, he's okay. 3 biggest questions. This is from Cassia. Offensive line, number 1, figuring out the best starting 5 and where everybody should play. Right now, you guys have seen the configurations. Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson and Jake Andrews and Titus Howard and Blake Fisher. I think at some point the change becomes the Ariante Ursary getting in there. And then second biggest question, probably health with some key positions, with linebacker with Christian Harris. And then I still wonder about Dalton Schultz. Is he going to bounce back? So those are some of mine. Titus, he looked a little more slim. He looked like he put on some muscle too. He looked pretty strong. How do I come up with the questions to ask the players? A lot of it is just me kind of thinking about what's topical. What if the fans want to hear? Stressins, thanks, my guy. Appreciate that. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir. I wonder about not re-signing John Weeks. Good point by Jim Davies, because by not re-signing John, they missing something in terms of experience. Austin Brinkman, talented long snapper from West Virginia, and we'll see, does he win the job? But it's definitely someone that they have a lot of interest in. They did work out long snappers from the UFL. Chase Lyons worked out from the San Antonio Brahmas during the minicamp. CJ spends a lot of time in the film room. Now, there's a point in the offseason where you can't spend any time together, engineer, but this is the time they were able to do that. So they were able to spend some time together, and they talk often, they text, they talk at all hours of the day. So yeah, it's a good relationship. Stressins wants to know about Braxton Berrios, if he's making the roster. I could see that. I think that he's experienced. He's got what it takes. Another question about tight end 1. I know that Cade looked good and Dalton, didn't have a great season, but I think obviously they have a big investment in Dalton. So follow the money sometimes. 3 years, $36 million. I think they'll use more of Stover this year. Yes, I think 6 wide receivers, technically Noah, because with the wide receiver position the way it is, they're going to need someone probably for returns. So I think 6. I think Berrios makes it. I think he sticks. Yeah, no problem stressing, yeah. And then, it could even be 7. We'll see. Mr. Optimistic. Kaylee will get the most out of the tight ends. Yeah, good point. Obviously, he worked with Rob Gronkowski, and he coached some good tight ends in Los Angeles as well with Tyler Higbee. I think that he does understand the tight end position. So, yeah, guys, ask me anything. This is wide open. I'll answer as many questions as you have. And we're not tied to this to just, until we got started a few minutes late. So I've got time for you. So, invite your friends. Yeah, thank you. So we'll see how they go. With Sims, yeah, Steve was that extra receiver and kick returner, basically. How the linemen receive Popovich. They love Popovich, Noah. Noah's full of good questions. As a stress sense, yeah, they're big-time fans of Cole. They consider him nasty, tough. They like the mentality. Remember, he was an All-American lineman at Fresno State. If you look at Cole, big, tough-looking guy. Last year, the way it was described to me was, Strausser controlled your playing time. So you had to listen to Strausser. But Strausser and Popovich did not see things eye to eye. And Popovich was the guy they felt like was telling them the right thing to do, but you had to listen to Strausser. So once they got Strausser out of there, it was free and clear for Popovich to take over, take the reins, and he got promoted. He got a raise, and he became O-line coach and run game coordinator. The rest is history. I think he can fix this line. Engineer wants to know if Stroud can be like a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady in terms of the mental side. I do think he's smart. I don't know if he's, necessarily because of the lack of experience getting to that in this third season. But I think eventually, yes, CJ is a cerebral quarterback. He's playing chess out there. He's smart. I think that he has that potential. And let's see. Yep. I mean, that touchdown against the Ravens, that was important. That was the only touchdown. Ranking the Texans secondary, DQ. I think they're the best. I think they're outstanding secondary. Thanks. Take off with me. I appreciate your comments. I'm doing the best I can with coverage. And, the NFL's a challenge, but I embrace that challenge, and I like doing this. What do you think will happen with you Scruggs? Good question. Backup. I don't know about trade or whatever. I think backup. I don't see him starting. Taylor wants to know if Jimmy Ward will be able to come back after a suspension. If he is suspended, so he still has to, obviously they have to adjudicate the case. The NFL has to decide, is it going to be suspension? Is it be exemption, commissioner exempt list? That's where you get paid and you're not, around the team. That could happen. He could also be released. He could also, if he was acquitted or if the case was dropped, probably unlikely he's on the case dropped, but if he was acquitted, perhaps, he could rejoin the team. He also has to get fully healthy. He is running, but he didn't practice in the spring after the foot surgery. Yes, Chubb is not here to be RB3. $5 million deal up to max value, and he is ahead of Dameon Pierce. Mr. Optimistic's question. Do you think the Texans made the right pivot, Noah wants, in the draft? I think so. I mean, they missed out on the offensive lineman to draft someone high. I knew all along Kelvin Banks was going to go in the top 10, as I reported. I thought Donovan Jackson actually was with me the week before the draft. He thought he'd either be a Texan or a Viking. So he was right either way. He would have been a Texan if he had stayed on the board. But they really preferred to get a tackle more so. And Josh Simmons went off the board. They trade back after he's off the board after they make the trade back. But he's someone that would have made a lot of sense if they had stuck as well. So I think they did the best they can, Noah. Can CJ be the 15th to 20th sack? Yeah, it's a big improvement. If he's in the middle of the pack for offensive line, absolutely, guys. I think that he can, be highly effective. You just don't want to be someone that's second highest sacked. Yeah, as Stresson says, one voice. And remember, D'Amico gave us the answers to the test. He foretold that this was coming, foreshadowed by saying a reset was coming for this offensive line. Boy, did he mean it. Laramie Tunsil out. Shaq Mason out. Titus Howard stays. Restructured contract. And trading Kenyon Green. And signing Cam Robinson. Trading for Ed Ingram. Signing Trent Brown. Drafting Ariante Ursary. And signing Laken Tomlinson. A watershed moment for the offensive line. We'll see what happens. I don't think that there's a lot of value in trading Mechie. I think that it's, probably like a middle round type of pick. So we'll see. Can the Ward contract be voided? You can void the guarantees, yes, under the basic terms of the NFL, but it takes time for them to do that. He has not been convicted, and he has only been charged. Guys, remember, due process, innocent till proven guilty. These are principles that we all embrace and live by, I believe. Let's not rush to judgment. Let's see what happens with Jimmy Ward. I know more than I can say, but I'm not free to say all that I've heard, and I have to respect the legal process. And of course, I need to be sensitive to these very serious accusations. Even though I know Jimmy, I can tell you this, I've stuck up for a player before all the facts were in, and I'm always going to be cautious now, especially in that type of situation. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you need to let all the facts come in, and we need to just continue to report and monitor this. But yeah, I know more. I know a lot about this case, but I'm not going to break discipline and say what I could say. There's a lot to the case. We're going to see what happens. None of us were there. There is no video that we know of. It may ultimately be this he said, she said. We'll see what happens. This is for the court system, for Montgomery County courts to decide, and we'll see what the good people of Montgomery County have to say about this. All right, let me move on. I think Ursery can be a starting left tackle. I don't know about franchise. I hate to hype someone up before they've even played, but you remember he blocked Abdul Carter. He was the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. He's gigantic. He runs a 5.01. He certainly has a lot of potential, engineer. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, Taki. Thank you so much. That was great. Yeah, guys, thanks a lot for the super likes, super chats. This is great. Appreciate that. Stressens wants to know about D'Amico and handling Jimmy Ward. Obviously, he has a close relationship with Jimmy. There have been other people they have let go over the years, including a staff firing one time of someone that was close to D'Amico Ryans. He will do what's in the best interest of the football team. He will not put his relationship above the football team, if that answers your question. Oh, Joel, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Really, really nice comment. Much appreciated. No one wants to know if the Texans, if I like that they're not afraid to cut the bad from the organization, not stay stagnant. I agree with that. I think you should be adaptable. We shouldn't, in any walk of life, stay the same. I think we have to always be getting better and improve. I think that makes a lot of sense. And hey, what's up, Tina? How you doing? Appreciate it. Thanks for being part of the channel. Am I comfortable with Nick Chubb? Yes. I think Nick Chubb, even at 80%, that's just a guesstimate. I don't know that. I think he's probably closer to, getting back to his old self, squatting over 600 pounds, running pretty fast. I could see that. Yeah, Woody missed a couple days. It was a minor injury. It wasn't anything serious. I could say that with Woody, it wasn't a big deal why he wasn't able to be out there. Nick Chubb, more talented. Yeah, this is the third all-time leading rusher in Browns history, behind the great Jim Brown and Leroy Kelly, Hall of Famers. I would say so, yes. More talented. Yep. Engineer, yeah, nice to know. But the contract, yeah, it was, well, they wanted to do it. They did it. He has value when he's healthy. Thank you, ye old nerd. Not calling you a nerd, but that's your title. Drew Wilkinson wants to know about the receivers. Membership information, it's available right there where you sign up, Taylor. So all you have to do is sign up there and you can become a member. So I appreciate that. And maybe at some point we're having subscriber-only chats. I need to get better at this. I have, dropped the phone a couple of times. I've had a couple of minor issues here. I will get better. I'll try to do this on my laptop next time. This is a big lesson. Oh, thank you, Cassie. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super like. St. Louis Rebel wants to know, did I ever think the Texans would turn it around? I thought it was going to take some time. I honestly didn't know they would, be 2 years. I thought it might be more of a 3-year, 4-year deal. I thought they might be 8-8 under D'Amico. The 3 first-round picks they got, the way Nick did a masterful job of being patient on the Watson trade, that really helped. I don't think that Nick Chubb has the heaviest squat. We don't have all of their PRs, but yeah, he's way up there, especially pound for pound at 227 pounds, be squatting over 600. I think CJ could get to the Dak Prescott territory. I could see that, yeah. DQ, I could see that happening. I think Nico can be all pro. I could see that happening as well, but there are a lot of great wide receivers. I could see that. Steve wants to know, will the O-line be more cohesive? Yes, I think they will be. I don't think there was any toxicity other than if you want to say maybe some disagreements. I don't know if it's toxic, but difference of opinions between Chris Strausser and Cole Popovich. But yeah, the players, they get along. They have these great lineman dinners. They hang out. They were going to Little Woodrow's and playing Pop-A-Shot and having some wings and maybe a beer or two, that kind of thing. Yeah, these guys like each other. They're good. Impact rookie, great question from Stressens, that's not named Jaden Higgins. I'm tempted a couple times to say Ariante Ursery, but I'm going to lean more to Jalen Noel, who I think could play a lot in the slot. Remember, there's a significant injury history for Christian Kirk. He would be the next man up in the slot. So I could see it being Jalen Noel. Odds of winning a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Cordy, I'm not a great prognosticator. I'm going to start with that. But I could see them reaching a Super Bowl in the next few years if they continue this trajectory of improvement of the roster. But it's a very demanding division. And remember, that means getting past quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. I think Kalen Bullock can be a 5 or 6 interception guy again. I think he can do that. I've been asked this question before. Good question by Footballer. I know it looked like he was trying to steal the football. I don't think he's lying. I think he's being honest that he was not trying to steal the football, that it just they got tangled up. He may have been trying to protect the football, but I don't think he was trying to steal the football and, take the ball and run with it, score a touchdown. I just don't think that Titus feels like he has those kind of jets. Nico and Jaden, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL in the future. DQ, it's very optimistic. I don't know. I think they could be the biggest and the tallest and great in the red zone and really outstanding. I don't know about the best. I think we got to see Jaden playing a real game first. Can he be a wide receiver 1? Absolutely, but not in this offense because Nico Collins is the clear wide receiver 1. They were not involved in Jair Alexander. That has nothing to do, Jay, with Arnett. As I reported before, they've been working on the Arnett thing for weeks. They worked out Damon Arnett. They worked out a corner that's asked me not to name his workout. I know about another workout that they had. They had the workout with Duke Shelley and Keenan Isaac. But it has nothing to do with the Jair Alexander. They were not in on that. Where would he play? They got Kamari Lassiter. They've got Derek Stingley Jr. There was nowhere for him to play. You say he was trying to take the ball. Can't be mad at it. Yeah, he might have been. I don't know. I don't have truth serum. I got to take him at his word. I don't think he's lying to me about that. Did they make sure Arnett would stay out of trouble? No one wants to know. There's only one person that can keep Arnett out of trouble, and that's himself. I do think he's genuinely changed. I think that he's clean. I think he's sober. And that's a great start. And I think he's also very religious now. There's no trade talks for Garrett Wilson. He's not available. There was nothing at all. Sorry, engineer. Ruin the party or the speculation, but yeah, I've never heard that ever. I don't think that it was something that is available to any team. John Mechie III is on the bubble. An away game I'm looking forward to. I always look forward to going back to Baltimore. I have a lot of friends there, including John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta, a lot of the people that work for the Ravens. I've known a long time. I see my family when I'm back there. So yeah, I would say Baltimore, where I spent 15 years covering the Ravens, covering the Ray Lewises and the Jonathan Ogdens and the Ed Reeds. So I was looking forward to going back there. A lot of my career, my success, covering the Ravens, covering Super Bowls, covering the Ray Rice story, breaking the Ray Rice story. So a lot of things. I do look forward to Baltimore. I have a lot of good memories from Baltimore. I do have a road trip, a couple of them to Los Angeles. I like the West Coast. I think it's fun. I like the shopping and the restaurants and the weather. So second, LA. Week 1 starting offensive line prediction from Stressens. I think week 1 it's going to look like it did at training camp. At mini camp. And that is from left to right. Having Cam Robinson at left tackle. Left guard, having Laken Tomlinson. Center, Jake Andrews. Right guard, Titus Howard. Right tackle, Blake Fisher with Ariante Ursery pushing for the job. Jared Wayne, it's funny because he's much improved. He looks more explosive. He looked better than a lot of the other receivers and more experienced. He is a dark horse to make the roster. He looked better than a lot of guys. Optimistic about Ladarius Henderson. They like what they're seeing from him. Yeah, they've been outspoken about Ladarius. DeMeco Ryans probably saw his comments. I got an interview with Ladarius at the Jalen Petrie football camp. I think he looks good. I think that he's got a real chance. Texans were never in on Stephon Gilmore. I get questions like this all the time. Guys, they don't need a starter. They're looking for a backup. That was a backup. Favorite Texans content creator. Why is it Houston Stressens? Besides liking Stressens, Mr. G, I really respect the time and energy he puts into this. And he's not just, doing this as a kind of hobby. He's really into it. He's always learning. He's teaching me stuff. He's trying to help me with this live. A couple things I think I could have done better with this. And again, I literally dropped my phone a couple times. I thought I would do it on the laptop. Could not figure it out. Couldn't figure out the tripod. It kept telling me I had to be vertical, not horizontal. So we're doing our best. And the next one, guys, I promise will be even better. But you guys primarily like me for my content, not necessarily my aesthetics here. But, we're working on that. I even have a big floodlight in front of me. All this stuff. I got a microphone. All right, next one. Tank. I do not think that he will be back for the playoffs. I think they're going to hold him till next year. I think that is the smart move, to wait till next year and let him get fully healthy. Do I think he could play technically this year? Sure. But I don't think it's a good idea. I think the Texans, they just don't want to say that for some reason. I don't think that they really want to give a lot of updates in general. But they are very much just want to give him space and let him get ready. Let's see. Demoting Bobby from play calling. Not really. I don't think they had anyone else in mind that had any experience play calling other than Bill Lazor. So they didn't seem to want to make that change. Most interesting game of the season. To me, it's probably Kansas City. And I think it's an outstanding game. It's worth circling. I don't know if Kate Stover's slowly taking the spot. I think he's increasing his role, if that makes sense, Aaron G., that he's going to play more and more. But I don't know about taking over for Schultz. See. Yep, about a month till practices on the dot. 22nd they report. They'll be on the field day after, so a lot of things. They looked at tight ends. I don't think about anything as far as like where they were really considering making a move. They just wound up not sort of standing pat at the position other than bringing back Irv Smith. Jared Wayne is looking good. That's right, DQ. Yep, I can attest to that. Touchdowns, separation, deep balls. He's looking good. Austin Deculus from Sci-Fair, good player. He stays in front of guys, not the most talented athlete, but a big, strong guy, good guy, very tough. Not real rumor about Kyle Pitts, not hearing that, not even hearing he's available. Oh yeah, tongue-in-cheek, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there are a lot of great Texans community people, and I think I'm, obviously just being accurate about what I think he does well. Thanks, Mr. Optimistic. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I like social media. I enjoy Twitter's kind of my favorite. I like Instagram. This is great. I think it's Very interesting. Shout out to Ari Alexander that he should make a YouTube channel. I've been telling Ari that. I was reluctant to start YouTube. I should have started this last year. I really like being on YouTube. Do people know my football playing days? Thank you for that question, Abigail. So here's my football playing days. I was all Catholic League at St. John's High School in Washington, D.C., which is a powerhouse program. I played high school football with the founder of Under Armour, Kevin Plank, and with future 10-year NFL defensive end Jay Williams. We beat DeMatha Catholic for the Catholic League title. We were one of the top-ranked teams in D.C. and in the country. I was an invited walk-on at East Carolina University. I played linebacker. My position coach was Chuck Pagano, and then I later covered Chuck Pagano when he was working for the Ravens. Great guy. And I had some injuries. I wound up lasting about 3 years at East Carolina. I wasn't like a Rudy or anything. I was a pretty good player, but I never really got to where I needed to get to. I wasn't the tallest guy, but yeah, I was throw my body around. I got in some practice fights. I got in some hard hits. I have a few lasting football injuries to this day, but I'm fairly healthy here at my middle age. And yeah, I feel good. But yeah, thanks, Abigail, for the football question. I think Damien can learn from Nick Chubb. I could see him being the third back and also kickoff returner. I don't see D'Amico giving up his grip on the defensive play calling. That's his edge. That's what he does well. I think he's continued to be the architect of the Texans defense. Remember, he has designed top-ranked defenses twice with the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, they gave Gerard Johnson an interview. It was a legitimate interview for the OC. They made a different decision. They hired Nick Haley. They also gave Bill Lazor a legitimate chance. Yeah, Barrios, absolutely. Reed plays safety, not nickel, but he can play nickel. Tight ends have separate meetings than the offensive line meetings. Jared Patterson is not injured. He has just been second team. DQ. Question. Do I ever talk to Astro guys like Chandler and Brian McTaggart? I've met Brian like once. I used to be working colleagues with Chandler. I used to see Chandler also at the occasion at the 24-hour fitness that I go to. I work at Rice Village. Chandler is a member there too, I believe. I used to see Jake Kaplan there. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while, but we have a lot of respect for each other, respect his work. He's someone that I think really does it the right way and is a great Astros beat reporter. What's up, Bubba's? Thank you, Sim. There's a financial component to YouTube. I'm doing okay with it. I'm just, in the last few months, started to grow to that point, but I appreciate it. Things like this help me. This is awesome. I don't know if Fisher will win the right tackle. I think that he's going to be the favorite to be the right tackle. He's got to hold on to the job, Sarah. And if he is recovering, if Trent is recovering, I would think Ursery. I think Ursery is closer to being the right tackle than the left tackle. Oh yeah, Kevin. Kevin sponsors St. John's High School and a ton of other things, a lot of charitable stuff, and the University of Maryland. He is on the board of directors of both. He was our fullback and nose guard. We called him the planker. He used to do lots of pranks. He threw some mud at us a couple times in the huddle. He was a feisty, scrappy guy. Cash and check and snap nice. I do my best. Did the D-line not improve? I don't know if they needed to have a nose tackle as much because they got Rankins and they got Settle and they have Foley Fatukasi back. I think it was okay. They talked briefly with Chip Kelly. It was not a rumor, but it wasn't like something where they were ever really that serious. And they weren't going to spend $6 million like the Raiders did. I don't know if they needed Chip Kelly. I think this is a good up-and-coming offense coordinator. Can they stop the run? I mean, they've stopped Derrick Henry before, but it's going to take better play from the linebackers, and it's going to take them building a wall and guys filling and tackling him in the backfield. Really, they need healthy Christian Harris. I think he's very good against Derrick Henry. Year two guys make the biggest jump. I think Kalen Bullock can play even better. I think that's someone that could move up even more. I also think that Kamar Lassiter can continue to improve. Blade Runner, I got to see which one. You're asking about whose film or workout. I may have missed this, Blade Runner. About the workout. Just let me know which player you're asking about, and I'll answer that question. Blade Runner. Question on what the Texans liked about his film. I think Trent Brown will not be ready for training camp. I don't know about PUP to start this season, but I think he would not be ready for the first day of camp. That's my opinion, and based on some things I'm hearing. It's hard to stop Lamar Jackson, engineer. You know, he's a really multi-dimensional dual-threat quarterback. He's tough. Everybody has problems stopping him. Yes, Darrell Taylor, a good defensive end. That's a sneaky good signing for the money they spent. I think he's outstanding. That is a good one. Linebacker, I mean, they have Azeez Al-Shire. That's a good one. I don't know about a move before the trade deadline. I think someone's going to step up. It could be E.J. Speed. It could be Henry To'oTo'o. Henry was playing pretty good last year, Aaron G., before he had some offseason injuries, but I think he's going to be okay. As far as Kalen, I mean, it's difficult to be a great tackler when you're a slim guy. It's hard for him to gain weight. I think the best thing he does is make plays on the ball. So, yeah, maybe I do think he needs to be a surer tackler, but he needs to wrap up. I think he's got to be a wrap-up tackler. So I think you make a great point. Philly Avery on that. Ideal starting offensive line to me at some point with you drafting Ursery and him having such great size, you need to get him in there. I mean, I've thought of some other lineups. To me, is Titus Howard possibly the best right tackle, but then you're weakening the guard position. I don't really feel that comfortable with Ed Ingram or Juice Scruggs starting. I don't know how much Tomlinson has left, but I just don't know. Oh, man. Who's your favorite small-time Texans channel? I mean, I watch a lot of Texans channels, and I don't like comment or anything like that, but I love everybody's channels. Oh, man. Dunking on Landry. No, Landry's a good dude. Landry's well-intentioned. He's kind of a smart aleck. I think sometimes people get him a little wrong, but Landry's cool. Yeah, respect Landry. Does a great job. I learn a lot from watching how some of these other guys do this. This is not easy as far as being a content creator. I am learning as I go. I think the best thing I can try to give you guys is my honesty, my information, and I'm getting better at the technology. I don't know how to share a screen, any of that stuff, but I give you what I have. But we'll keep growing. This is my first live. This is a step in the right direction. I'm a little concerned about what it's going to look like as far as the phone drops and the shaking the phone, but it'll get better, guys. This is just the start. This is like my first game, my rookie season, my rookie live. So Dylan Horton, I think he makes the team. I think Will Anderson gets a contract extension probably before the draft next year. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate that. Get a stand, call it a day. Yep. So, yeah, with this, I've got a little mic thing, and I guess I just it's more prone for the other type of, not for horizontal, not for vertical. Tight end had the best year of their career. Who would it be? I guess Stover. Go with Stover. Oops. Didn't think that would happen again. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right, we got some more questions here. Thanks for all the feedback, guys. Jalen Thomas, Corey Barrett, good question. He is a underrated offensive lineman, a backup lineman, former SMU lineman that's moved from tackle to guard. I could see him making the team. I don't know about a big impact, but he is a good player. Jalen Thomas, underrated, also a good dude. I don't know if Jalen's going to get past Kirk. I think eventually. I think Kirk could be kind of like a guy, maybe he's here for the year. We're going to see how that goes. Hi, Jackias. Oh, you're welcome, Deidre. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I have some opinions. I like to really just kind of give you guys the facts. I like to give you something that maybe other people don't have, some information, some insight. There are a lot of great journalists that cover this team. Just try to do my best with my style. And I think authenticity is a big thing. Be yourself. And so, yeah, I'll give you guys what I have. I'm not trying to be show busy or anything like that. I think that it's a process, you know, being like Randy and Ari, all those guys have their own style on camera. All the YouTubers have their own style. So this is my style, for better or worse. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, the feedback. This is great. Yeah, Jalen Noel, very, very positive guy that loves football. Kind of a homebody when he's not playing football. That's very similar to Jaden Higgins, the way their personality has been described to me. Besides just like fishing, watching movies, watching TV, playing miniature golf, hanging out with their significant others, that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I'll talk to Cody. Absolutely. Yeah, Cody does a great job. Don't give up on Ladarius Henderson. I know you're the Ladarius Henderson guy, Corey. But right now, yeah, he has got to shed some rust, and he is not in the running for a starting job right now. I think you're asking about Reed, the safety. Yes, I think he could play a little bit, especially special teams. Thanks, front runner. I think that they could exercise the 50 years early. Sometimes that's a placeholder, but you don't necessarily have to do that. I think generally it could just be a contract for those guys. It doesn't have to be right now either. Oh yeah, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, spicy in a word. Definitely authentic, genuine, like you said. Very real, really no filter. There were some things that I didn't put in the interview that I just thought, you know, he's kind of joking around and I don't really want to get into. You know, obviously he has a feud with the Swifties, Taylor Swift, all of that's in fun. I would say, guys, I told him this. He reminded me of like kind of the passion of a Ray Lewis, a Ed Reed, Ravens kind of guy. Get after you, likes to hit. He got me fired up. I was running around with my phone, trailing him as he's backpedaling, trying to get some good videos from that interview. I had a lot of fun. It's one of my, better interviews I thought that I've had in the last few years. So I enjoyed that. So yeah, that was really interesting to hear from him. And I thought he said the right things. He spoke his mind. That's how he feels about the Eagles. Thinks that they disrespected him. That it's deeper than that. Only thing I can tell you that wasn't really in the interview, behind the scenes, did he occasionally, great on teammates, have some things where his kind of motor mouth mode of talking a lot, does that ever bother teammates? Yeah, sometimes it did, but they worked it out as men. He just really dispelled the notion that him and Darius Slay had beef. He said they're fine. I think occasionally he got into it with the offense, with the offensive line. He didn't back down from the offensive linemen. So yeah, there was some of that went on as well. But that was my impression. Good impressions of CJ. CJ Stroud, I think CJ, did well. I think CJ is back to, really getting to 100%. Oh, thanks. Me and Cody. Well, Cody's got a good partner with Landry. They got a great thing going. So yeah, he doesn't need me, but he's doing great on his own. Cody's awesome. I think he can make the practice squad. We'll see. He could also be attractive, Corey, to some other players, some other teams, rather. Let's see. Well, I thought that perhaps, and again, I'm sort of a devil's advocate for this on the Chubb signing. I thought perhaps they should have just let Woody develop instead of necessarily needing to spend that much on the backup running back position. Maybe they already had their backup, but they went a different direction. I get a question about Stephanie Stroud. I'm getting a lot of questions about other reporters. She is a lawyer and a Chronicle contributor. I would call her a journalist. Yes, she writes about legal matters. Yes, that is journalism. Absolutely. She's a long time, especially on legal matters. Pay attention to Stephanie. She has a lot of good things to say. Yeah, I don't think there's a video of me chasing him. I was chasing after Optimistic, him and a content creator that was out there shooting, a photographer and videographer that was shooting for CJ. I was trying to keep up. I'm not as fast as those guys, but I was moving as fast as I could. I had a good time. They got me activated. I was moving. I felt good. My back felt good. I got kind of a bad back sometimes. But yeah, I felt good that day. Darius is starting a podcast. Darius, good luck. I appreciate it. Yeah, email me. Yes, my email, abwilson@kprc.com, or DM me. Thanks, Stressens. Appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Next one's going to be even better, guys. Why don't we do about some more time for guys that are arriving late that have questions, or if the other guys have more questions. Appreciate all the super chats. Thank you. We got like about 4 of those. So yeah, thanks for tipping, as they say. The tip jar is open. That was awesome. Thank you. Really, really cool to see that. So guys, I appreciate it. But yeah, there's some more questions in the room. We'll go through that. For those that missed the beginning, we were talking about the Damon Arnett signing. It is for the veteran minimum. It is, definitely low risk, low reward, or high risk. Sorry, let me try that again. My cliche is mixed up here. It is low risk, high reward. Schedule live once a week or every other week. Yeah, let's do this more often. I would like to do this again, and I want to get better at it. Gotten better at some other things. I want to get better at this too. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot. Just waiting kind of for some more comments. I'll keep rambling. Any reporting players? Whoops. That live in the facility? Like real gym rats? I think there's guys that spend a lot of time there. Stingley's one of those guys. He spends a lot of time there. Funniest player interview this past season, Tim Settle Jr., the funniest. A-Dub and Seth. Seth's got such a great channel. I'll ask him maybe, see if he has time for that. I don't know. I would love to have him as a guest or guest on his if he would be interested. We'll see. I don't know if there's been as much collaboration, but everybody kind of does their own thing with these channels. Got time for a couple more, guys. And just basically to recap, guys, training camp reporting July 22nd, practicing July 23rd. There'll be some other details we'll get into later. As you know, there are joint practices. Carolina Panthers here, Detroit Lions on the road. So preseason action coming, about a month away. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap unless anybody's got any last questions. Anybody? Okay, here we go. No, I think that's it. I'm hearing for the front office with the promotions of Chris Blanco, James Lipford to assistant general manager. Congratulations to those guys. They do a great job working for Nick Caserio, lieutenants to him, and really hard workers. Bubba's, I don't know how many games. I'd give it like a month. Let's see how it looks. And then I don't know about pointing fingers and making changes. I think they've got to let this play out a little bit. Let's give it some time. Oh, thanks, Figgy. Figgy Fig, the man. 6'10". Appreciate you stopping through. Bobby was not adapting to, not halftime adjustments were bad, not listening to player feedback, seemed a bit stubborn, a little set in his ways, not that creative. The tendencies were obvious to everybody and just didn't seem like it was going to get better. Didn't seem like the upside of the ceiling was that high, Joel Flores. Great question. I wouldn't say there's one final straw. There's lots of things that culminated in him being fired, but there were just so many things that happened. It was a regression. It wasn't very good in year 2. You can blame someone on the offensive line, someone on CJ, but ultimately Bobby, a lot of accountability for him. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap now, and appreciate you guys coming through. Enjoyed this very much. Thanks for everybody that asked questions, was patient with me, hit the tip jar. That was awesome. Didn't expect that. Really honored and touched that some people did that. That was so cool. Appreciate it. If anybody wants to do that at the last minute, hey, I won't say no. I'm not too proud to beg. Guys, thank you. We're going to do this more often, and I'm going to work on it, the mic stand, all of that stuff. It'll get better and better. Yeah, appreciate you, Blade Running, and Aaron G, fellow Aaron, Figgy, Corey, Stressens, Cassia, everybody that came through. What week would be large enough? I think a month, James. I think give it a month in the regular season. That's what I think. I think they need a month. Let's see how it looks after 4 games. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to head out. We're going to wrap for real this time. Appreciate that. We did about 70 minutes. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, guys. I'm going to head on out. All right, thanks very much. And we'll have this taped and everything, and hopefully I'll figure out how to save it and all that stuff so people can watch it again. Until next time. You're welcome, guys. Thanks.